Good day, folks. Happy to everybody. Eid Mubarak. I wake up, look at the paper, look at some YouTube, and I think I'm living in some odd truth. I mean, it's just amazing of what gets put out in the paper, what's the reality, and you're just unscramble. Trying to unscramble your brain is it's just a huge effort. That's why, guys, I have just stopped watching all television news. Now I'm just thinking of throwing out the newspapers too, but sometimes in between, inside, you find some snippets of pieces of news that the government is actually trying to hide. Right? The first bit that I am very saddened about is this incident. 5 killed in terror attack on Indian Army truck. That was yesterday. And then you have this 4 soldiers killed in J&K terror attack, were from Punjab, one from Odisha, and homes far from Poonch. Families recall role models, their many dreams cut short. Was in lively mood, always motivated youth join the army. This is Sepoy Sevak Singh, leaves behind a baby girl, promise of house to father Lance Naik Devashish Biswal, proud of his sacrifice, but how many more widows? This is Havildar Mandeep Singh, like his father, he dies on duty. Toddlers left behind, Lance Naik Kulwant Singh. We spoke before attack, came to know in evening. This is Sepoy Harkrishan Singh. And from Rajnath to Kharge, Mamta to Kejriwal, leaders united against terror. Now, this is the funny thing, united against terror. Now, I'm just talking about Article 370 and Notebandi, and we had to have this. That this was one of the main targets, that this terrorism will go away, and with 370 it's not happening. And then I also go back to what the latest exposures by Satpal Malik ji, who says that the 40 Jawans that were killed were all due to our incompetence, NSA's incompetence, and all along. And because of that, he says, I was told to shut up because I always knew that this meant that they were going to blame Pakistan, is what he thought. And and that was for the upcoming elections. You saw what happened. And I see this as just right. The timing is just so apt. Karnataka elections are coming up. You have this, and it is just so sad, right? And you have this other one, right? Then it says army hunts for terrorists operating in J&K Poonch, and you look at these youngsters who lost their lives, right? It is just so sad that the nationalism is being ridden on the shoulders of dead soldiers. That's what I say. Like, our soldiers are being sacrificed. Why? Because we want to tarnish of the 56-inch or the nationalist thing, right? And then you have this Shaista Praveen, wife of Atik, homemaker, mother of 5, now a wanted on wanted list. Now there are 3 Muslim ladies and wives whose husbands have all been killed, are on a wanted list. Unbelievable, right? And then you have this corruption. I don't know whether you remember, there was the CBI conference that the Prime Minister was advocating, and it was unbelievable, right? He's going on about Bhrishtachar. I'm not sure who's Bhrishtachar. Nobody's at Adani's gate. Nobody's at the guys in Karnataka 40% gates. And and Satpal Malik ji said that, really, Modi is not worried about any kind of corruption, really doesn't bother him. And that tells you, right? See, because right after this guy made a claim, you have CBI to examine former J&K Governor Malik over his bribery claims. And look at this, the guy, right? I love this. Very happy with you. Modi dials Ishwarappa, hails his loyalty to BJP. This is the guy, right, who was forced out of the BJP because the BJP contractor had claimed that he's committing suicide because he was asked for 40% commission by Ishwarappa. The BJP contractor belonging to the BJP party. Unbelievable. And then Modi calls Ishwarappa. What do you have, man? Does he really care about corruption? But you can see very clearly, CBI is supposed to only go after corruption of the opposition, but forget about what's happening in-house, because he's been Modi washed and they've become, or BJP washed, and they've all become clean and surf ki dhulai, safed, right? And this is the other one. Yesterday, he was at a conference and he thinks the senior secretary level, secretaries, right, of the government. That's the iron frame of this country, which is now obviously in tatters, but still, he's telling them this, right? Must check whether party uses public money for own benefit. Then he says bureaucrats must check the usage of taxpayers' money by politicians, says PM. And then he has ensure tax used for nation, not any party, PM to Baba. We have a calculation that to scrub and shine the PM's image, 55,000 rupees are spent a minute for the last 8 years, and it totals up to about 22,000 crores. 9,600 crores, which has been given up as an answer to an RTI question, is being just spent on advertisement. And tell me, how many one-day trains have you seen? Every one-day train he's laying flagging in a full-page advertisement in every newspaper. This, I mean, somebody sitting there says maybe this one-day thing is the next biggest thing since sliced bread, right? Not telling you that it still runs at 1/3 the speed of faster trains, still has all the accidents. So I'm not sure what he's trying to do, showcase technology to the world that India has arrived. This is the, we didn't have trains before then. All he's done is scrubbed it, added another 20 kilometers an hour, and you call this one-day train. Oh wow. And he thinks then he has the time to flag those off. It's all about, again, self-promotion, right? And this is where you find the Gujarat courts in a lot of trouble, right? I mean, you find this hilarious, right? Same page says Rahul to move HC after Gujarat court dismisses plea to stay conviction. This is on a defamation case. 2 years, never happened before, right? And all done, as you can see, the speed with which it went, because you have cases lying all over the place, years in running. At the speed it's run was basically to get him out of Lok Sabha so that he couldn't say anything, and then probably also keep him out of this Karnataka campaign, and probably also ensure that he doesn't fight in 2024. But this is going to work, I think, boomerang on the BJP, because the sympathy wave that's building is unbelievable, right? And at the same time, the Gujarat courts do this, right? All 67 accused acquitted in 2002 Naroda massacre case, and everything is on record. All these people are heinous crimes and cases all acquitted. Just like all the guys who were the Bilkis Bano case were all released, right? And we have to worry about this. Registration for 62 Amarnath Yatra commences. I'm just worried. I hope this Yatra doesn't have any incidents before the Karnataka elections. I always worry about that. Then you have this. EC gets rolling for 2024, starts with paper trail machine. Now this is really funny. Got to hear this, folks. 6 lakh, that is 1/3 of the machines, 1/3 of the VVPAT machines are not in working condition. And we have been running all our elections with them. How sad is that? Can we not trust these VVPAT machines, is what I ask you, right? IMF growth forecast may be off mark, real numbers to come as a surprise, says RBI. I am beginning to think now RBI and this government has another tumbler here somewhere where they keep throwing in stuff and a number comes out and hey, shows India growing at the best ever rate ever, right? While you should be worried about this, women shot thrice in bustling Saket Court. That's New Delhi. And guess who's responsible for India's law and order? Delhi's law and order. The LG. Guess who the LG reports? To the Home Minister. Well. And this carries on apace. One more IIT M student kills self, 4th in 75 days. But let me also tell you another news piece of item that has not in any one of the papers. Right after this huge show of bum-chumness with the Australia Prime Minister and in the Modi, stadium in Gujarat, guess what happened? 6 universities in Australia have decided not to enroll any students from India. That's one of the top universities in Australia. Why? Because of the fraud that is coming from here. Or because of the people who claim what they are not there. Just don't have the degrees, just don't. Can you imagine the slap on our face, folks? This is what happens when you try and change education and you try and change history. And only this is going to continue to happen for all your children. My son is up and born and done and dusted. Let me just tell you, all the youngsters who continue to go after this whole charade and buy into this Hindu majority vote bank, your children will suffer. 3 cheers and Jai Hind, especially when education changes to become alt reality.